I don't know if it's a risk as much as it's just going to be a full on uh, um, huge amount of work for these business owners that aren't used to having to create their own brand. If your name was CrossFit blah 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 or blah 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 CrossFit, it was very easy for you to operate under the guise of the community, under the flag. And if we're talking about small gym owners, micro gym owners, we know that the one thing that is not a typical strength is not only business operations, but branding and marketing. And if you're just going to take CrossFit away, you're going to be from your name, from your brand, from your identity, you're going to be washed in a sea of other micro gyms that are trying to do the same thing. Instead of collectively yelling CrossFit and people saying, okay, this is what we are. We have a stigma attached to us, if you want to say that, but we know that, we understand it, we're able to leverage it. These gyms are going to have a very hard time not only developing their own individual brand and identity, but then promoting it and getting it out there. It's like, this is, you are going to create a lot of extra work for you. And that may be a good thing. So
I mean, I
might
think one of the
force some
things
gyms
that
to jump in.
I think one of the things that a lot of the gym owners will forget in doing that is not only are they changing their brand, but they have to scrub CrossFit completely out of their history. You know, CrossFit will still exist. So when you get into the affiliation of being able to use the term CrossFit, like if you've been around for 8 years, how many different blog posts or marketing pieces do you have on your website or your Facebook page that you are advertising or talking about CrossFit? You know, do you have a $2,000 neon sign that hangs above your front door that says CrossFit on it? Like as soon as you drop that affiliation, that stuff has to go. I mean, because at some point CrossFit will start taking reports of, you know, IP theft again. If people are still using CrossFit or it's still there, like.
Well, it does speak to what the impact is on the culture. You know, one of the biggest things I think we've all kind of been a part of is we all knew we did CrossFit. You would go to different cities and try to drop in a different CrossFit gyms and boxes. Now what do you do? What do you say you do? Do you functional fitness?
And that's the same.
And
that's
it's trivial, but
it's
a thing, right? Like you lose that larger community that unified everybody under the name of CrossFit.
CrossFit has, and they've worked tirelessly, the CrossFit headquarters has worked tirelessly to separate their brand from functional fitness, but it has become common nomenclature. It's like saying, hey, can you hand me a Kleenex?
Right.
Kleenex is a brand of a tissue, but people will say that, right? And it's not anything that's going to go away. And yeah, what you're saying is, like you have a common shared understanding with me. When you tell someone, like, and you're on the opposite side of the country,
and it's identified.
Like, I do CrossFit. It's like, that's branded, but it allows for those two people to understand a common background and to make certain assumptions about each other. If I tell someone, like I've been training functional fitness for blah, 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 that term is so vague right now that I can't make really any assumptions about that person. That is what the brand has allowed us to do. And I think a lot of people are underestimating the power of that brand severely.
And just, for the record, we're not for or against de-affiliating or remaining an affiliate.
Right.
But there are questions that I think everyone should be asking themselves. And, does it align with what your vision of your brand and your overall larger community? Does it all align? And are we asking ourselves those questions honestly and thoughtfully? And that's all we want to do, is to drive that discussion. So yeah, what's next?
The hard part is that, look, there are moral decisions that people are making, and then there are operational decisions that need to be made. And I get it from the moral perspective. You need to do what it takes to make yourself and your circle comfortable with the way that you're living life. But then there's also the reality of life itself and the operational pressures that come along with running a business. And the reality is you are going to have to spend probably 5 digits plus in order to rebrand your business. You will have to spend time, which equals money, to rebrand your business. And that is something that needs to really be considered, because there are some businesses out there that are teetering and cannot take this operational hit right now. So it is a very hard decision to be in. And I think that there are a lot of people making some of these decisions and look at others. And those others have already gone through that path. So it's easy for them to say, hey, just rebrand. Look at me, I did it. But maybe they did it 6 months ago, 2 years ago. They've already done it. They've already incurred all those costs,
and they had a full plan, rollout plan. Right.
Right.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with anything that Brian is saying here, but I think those are the obvious costs of changing your brand and making this decision. I don't think anybody is going to, I don't think any of that objectively is going to sway someone one way or the other. They're just going there. I think what we're seeing is people are making this decision completely based off of morals, which isn't necessarily bad. And then they're going to figure out how to deal with the objective truth of cost afterwards. And I'm talking like dollar costs, like, oh, I got to change out that sign, up, I got to pull down that banner, up, I got to go to the website and switch this out, up, I have to spend time rebranding our trainer's manual or whatever.
And they'll figure it out.
And they'll figure it out because of the way that our businesses are organized, and because of how communal they are. If a gym decides to rebrand, I think it would be a very rare gym where the community would not understand the time it takes to do those things. I think it would be rare where a community would not understand. So it's like if I was CrossFit Max Effort and I said, hey guys, because I did this at one point, I didn't de-affiliate, but I was like, hey, we're switching to Max Effort Fitness. That did not happen overnight, did not happen over a week. It was a multi-phase process. And my community understood that, and they were supportive of it. And actually, not all of them were supportive of it, but
which is
you get the picture,
expected, right?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that the objective cost is going to be a deciding factor. It's going to be an afterthought. How do we deal with it, rather than like, oh, I should weigh this in my decision.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if that's
right,
good or bad.
No, I mean that's just the reality of it, and I'm just going to throw another wrench into the equation. I mean, it's not like COVID, we're past COVID either. A lot of us that have taken PPP or EIDL loans, you got to be conscious about how you're using those funds.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where rebranding fits into the government scheme of this loan and loan forgiveness. So really check with their CPAs on that if you've taken any type of funding.
Yep. That's a good point.
Well, today we have rebranding is definitely a hot topic, and something we actually have a few things up our sleeves for. First, just want to know what everyone's thinking in terms of, have you guys done a complete enough analysis of, what the cost of rebranding is for your business? What are you guys factoring into that decision? But if you have come to a decision to rebrand, today we have a few releases that are coming out. So we have our webinar today at 2 p.m. Central Time. And Nick Reyes from Push Press here will be putting that on, walking through how to rebrand, what he's done at his facility to take them from CrossFit 913 to Kansas Athletic Club. And they have a really, really solid brand, really strong brand right now. Mm-hmm. And second, we also have a new release of In the Trenches put on by Eric Leclerc, again, another team member of Push Press. And he interviewed Nicole Race of Elevate St. Pete. And they recently went through a full rebrand and again came out really strong, but none of that happened overnight. So if you're looking for some insight into how to execute from kind of beginning to end, a complete rebrand, make sure you catch both of those, which will drop today. You'll see them if you're following this video and following our channels and YouTube channels and whatnot. So make sure you guys are keeping an eye on that stuff today. No real conclusion today other than, what are you guys thinking about your rebrand and where that's kind of positioned for your business? Let us know. All right, guys, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you at Good Stuff tomorrow, Wednesday.
All right.
Catch you later.
Later, guys.
Sweet. See you.
Thanks. Bye.